So what is up, everybody? This is Scarcasm. I'm Crucial Chase. We have Scarfinger,
I'm here.
and we have Sam,
Hello, hello, hello.
and we also have Anthony Alex.
What's up? Yeah. How you doing, fellas?
So
What's up, dog?
Hey, brother.
This is a surprise.
Surprise.
And I tried to make it a surprise.
Word up.
So there you go. This is episode
I-
400, man.
Fuck yeah. See, typically, here's my thing, and I just had this conversation with my girl, but I was like, I told her it was episode 400, and she was like, "You're not doing anything special for it," and I'm like, "Well, I typically do the special stuff for the anniversary shows, like like the numbers don't matter as much to me, but like I think I think 400 is an achievement, but like."
Oh, yeah.
Am I gonna do something special for 500?
Yeah.
Are you going to? Well, yeah.
Oh, you say, am I gonna be around for 500?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think if you check your numbers, I think I've been around for most of the big numbers like that. I want to say 200, 300. I don't know. We have to go back and look, but yeah, I've made an appearance for most of the big numbers.
Yeah, man. It's dope. I'm behind on the show because y'all started being consistent, and I'm just like,
That's crazy.
y'all started being consistent, and I'm like, damn, I'm not consistently listening.
Yeah.
Like it was cool when y'all did a show like every 3 years. Like I could just hop in, check the show out, be like, all right, those my guys, and just kind of be out. And now it's like, now I got to actually set time aside for this. It's crazy, but I'm glad to have you here. I'm glad that you're back.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's good to be here. We it's the same thing with like conspiracy otter with lads. Do it every once in a while, whatever. And then what really started it this time is Bubba. We're talking about the Angry Mailman podcast for people that don't know what we're talking about. Bubba had one of his friends contact me about wanting to start some podcast or whatever. And Bubba's like, yeah, I think I'm going to get on it with him or whatever. I'm like, wait a minute. In my mind, I'm thinking, so you got time to do a podcast, but we ain't doing that. Is that what you're saying? So he got me all like kind of fired up and stuff, talking about doing a podcast and all this. And then finally we were talking. I said, look, why don't we just commit to just hit it hard for 3 months and see what happens? See if we still like doing it, if people listen again and all that. And so we're, I don't know, 8 weeks into that or something now.
Yeah, that's dope, man. It was weird when y'all came back, and then like it's like, okay, they did a show, like, all right, next year, and then y'all came back next week, and I'm like, all right, fine, I'll listen to that one too. I was like, I was expecting the usual, and y'all switched it up. That's dope. I mean, it's weird. Is it weird for you as it is for me to still be doing this?
Yeah, when I was thinking the other day, we started in 2010, and like this month in May, we'll hit 9 years. I'm like, 9 years, really? It doesn't seem like 9 years, but like you're saying, we on I think 2 years we only did one show for like the whole year, and then I think 1 year we did maybe either 2 or 3. So like of the 9 years, 3 or 4 of the years only was like 5 shows. So,
and even over my 9 years, because we started months apart.
Right.
I started in February, so and so it was. There's been some breaks.
Yeah.
There's been some breaks, and but like I'm always surprised to still be doing this, and like to still be doing it as much, because like when we have shows, I still do the Dream Team, and then I was doing Facetious and like all of the stuff. Like I'm just super surprised to like still be sitting here with a microphone, still with the same, not the same, but a different blue snowball.
You were the first one out?
No, I was having an issue with the connection, there was something just not going right with the connection. So I was gonna upgrade. And I was like, well, they got a Blue Snowball on sale for like $30 and it's a newer version. Why don't I just do that? And then I got to, then I really wanted to upgrade. I bought the little arm thing with the little windscreen muff thing.
Sure.
They call it a muff. I didn't. Like, they call it a muff. Man.
It's so why? There's what it is after 400 episodes. What's got you still doing it after over 9 years and 400 episodes?
Mostly because of two things, really. One is fucking easy. Like, it's not really hard to do. Like, I don't really do a whole bunch of like show notes and like talk about like news articles unless something comes up in conversation. Which I can roll with that too. Like, even with Facetious, like, he had topics, but I never looked at them. And, like, he just said the topics. I just roll with it. Podcasting, for me, podcasting is simple.
But even with Facetious, it was not like serious articles. It was kind of like talk show type topics. Like, what about these cell phones in your front pocket type shit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So, and it's just. I mean, for me, like, podcasting is simple. And then I think for the other side of it is, I find it helps me in my mental, because sometimes I can get a little bit depressive. I find it it helps me when someone just mentions something that happened on the show, whether it's any of the shows. Like, when, someone hits me up and it's just like, hey, I heard this on the show, and like, or like, I disagree with you on this, or I agree with you on that. It's just like, they actually listened. Like, I never expected anybody to give a shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the reason why I started podcasting is because I listened to a lot of gaming podcasts, and no one had a voice like mine. Nobody was like a regular dude who was also a brother that, like, the brothers that I know that was in gaming podcasting, like, they were like up there and went to events and all of that kind of stuff. So they didn't have an experience like mine where, I got to buy all my shit. Like, I don't get anything free. Like, you know what I mean? Right. Like, that type of stuff. So, like,
you may not get to play all the brand new stuff when it comes out, because that's like $60-$70. Come on, man.
Right. And like, there's some things that I like that I'm able to buy, but at the end of the day, when I spend $60 on Brutal Legend, you need to hear about that. You know what I mean? Which I did. I did actually spend. And like, when the game changed, when it was more RTS, I stopped playing, and I have not touched Brutal Legend ever since.
Yeah, that's about how far I made it. And I was like, this is cool. It's rock and roll, man. And then I'm like, why am I controlling all these little dudes? This is terrible. Exactly. I'm going to play Age of Mythology if I want to do this. This game sucks.
Yeah, that's the same with me. It's so funny how we all like with that game the same thing.
Yeah. And so it's that thing. I crave attention in some ways. So, and that's the reason why I still do it. Like, I'm really contemplating retiring, or not necessarily retiring all the way, but kind of taking a step back and kind of doing like little small things, like what I did with the answering the question last month, which last month for our numbers, ever since the split with me and Sherry, our numbers took a nosedive, because there's a segment of the population that were being sent from somewhere else, and that person said he didn't want to be associated with us while we were going through a messy breakup. So, like, I lost thousands of downloads a month. So to be honest, like, the monthly totals, and I shared this with the fellas, the monthly downloads have been, barely in the, at average somewhere around 400, which is, like, when you're used to getting 3,000,
Yeah.
Like, that really hurts. But last month, with the addition of Sherry and Rob going back to doing casual conversation, and I did that little small show. Last month, our numbers were spectacular. Like, we crossed 1,000, and that's the thing about it is, like, 1,000 may not be a lot for your average podcast star,
Mhm.
but for me and for all of us to get that number, and I know for a fact that it wasn't dependent on someone else who had a higher popularity that sent people my way.
Yeah.
It was because of the hard work and dedication of the fellas here and Sherry and Rob, and like we actually put in the work, we put out the content, and people downloaded it. And to cross 1,000 more organically with just us and not relying on everyone else, not relying on anyone else. That's why that shit means a lot.
Yeah.
It means a whole lot, and I was really surprised. Like, but it was one of those things to where I just kind of like went on and just kind of looked and was just like, okay, I'm gonna upload a show today. Holy crap, we're close to 1,000. How the hell did this shit happen? You know what I mean? Like, so like,
now, what do you think about the difference between? Because I have some opinions on the difference between purely an audio podcast and incorporating video versus when we started in 2010 versus now.
Well, see, the video doesn't do nearly as well. I'll just say that, especially because we started putting this on a different feed. Like, we created a Geeks Gone Raw YouTube channel for this to go to, and so the video part doesn't really do a whole lot. The thing about it was, like, Chase was pretty much the architect of this part of it, where we were already video chatting with each other. Like, we were already using this service to record the shows. And so he was just like, well, why don't we just do this all the time? And I was like, well, it doesn't really make a difference. Like, the only difference between the shows that we recorded with us just talking to each other on video and now I have to put on a better shirt. You know what I mean? Like,
that's a good shirt.
Yeah, it's a good shirt. I mean, the collar's getting a little stretched though, but like, I had to put on a shirt, like, before I could throw on just random t-shirt that I don't really care about, because only Chase was seeing it. But now I just have to, make sure that I put on a better shirt. But other than that, this is still what we do. And like I said, it's not complicated. It's just
because that's the whole thing about the video thing, is like, the main reason is that I can send it to Mixer, and on Mixer I can download it directly, and then I don't have to go with those Skype recorders that never work and like do all this stuff. So I can just use OBS, send it to Twitch, YouTube, and Mixer, download it from Mixer, and edit the podcast from there. So it just makes it easier. Yeah. And I thought about that for a while too, about like YouTubers versus podcasts. I mean, podcasting is easier in that way that 1,000 people listen because they can listen on their headphones, they can listen in the car, they can listen at work. But for you to be a big YouTuber, they have to care enough to actually sit down and watch a video and have time to do that and pay attention. Yeah. Or you just cater to the kids, which I'm not going to do.
And it's one of those things to where
you can open up some of them little chocolate eggs and go, look. Like, all my kids, I'm like, what are y'all watching, man? Chocolate eggs with toys in it.
I saw they now sell those little chocolate eggs here that they were banned at first because the toys were too small.
Yeah, apparently American kids were too stupid. They would eat the toys. I don't know.
I saw some of those in the store, and I was like, oh, they sell those here now.
We're not complete idiots. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe not. But it is. I can't even remember what I was.
I really think that it's not because of that. Because if you think about the toys that we had versus the toys, I don't think the kids got smarter and now they're able to do that. I think there was a span of time where they were too protected. Because if you look at like what we played with, like, okay, all my friends had like 22s when they were like 12 years old, out shooting stuff in the woods. You had like lawn darts.
You know what? That's exactly what I was thinking. I didn't say
Yeah.
it, but I was like, lawn darts.
Yeah, trampolines didn't have nets on them. The first time I saw a trampoline with a net on it, I'm like, why you got a net on it? My little cousin broke his arm. That was just part of it. You just break your arm,
It's
man.
like, yeah, like and like hitting your knee on the railing on the side is part of the process.
Yeah,
Like,
most of the time the pads didn't last but a few months, and you are pinching your testicles on that one of those springs. Like, if that's just how it is, get ready. That's just part of growing up in America.
Testicle pinching. That is the episode title. Yeah, that is the episode title.
You went 400 episodes just so you can get the testicle pinching.
Right.
Yep,
Testicle pinching usually costs you an extra $50, but we give it to you for free.
Yep, that's the show title. We got it. Oh man, so Sam.
His mic's off. He's like, look, y'all got this.
What's going on?
What's going on, dog? You ain't saying that this whole time.
I'm just letting Double A over here do his thing.
How you doing, brother?
How's it going?
I see you lurking on Twitter from time to time.
Yeah, every now and then I'll pop out and say something stupid.
So see, now you don't have all these jokes you can make about Amp doing one show a year. We've already done like 8. I don't know who. It's always between you or Fadios who's trolling me on that stuff.
Well, because I was telling Scar the other day, I was like, man, they haven't done a show in forever. What happened? And he explained. He told me the whole story and everything. I was like, okay. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you just pop up with like 8 shows. I'm like, hey, whoa.
Yeah.
Well, you know the whole thing with Angry Mailman podcast started 2010. Bubba lived really close to me, and then my brother, we had him join in. We were doing it all locally in one room. Then Bubba decided he wanted to move to Indiana, which he'll tell you now was a terrible idea. He got in a bad space. He was surfing on people's couches and using McDonald's internet. We would still try to make it happen. He came back briefly, then moved to California, straightened his life out. And during all that point in time, really about the same time Scar was having marriage trouble, I was having marriage trouble. So we both kind of did a new thing then, and both got divorced within a few. We started podcasting within a few months of each other. Got divorced between a few months of each other.
You know the crazy thing. All right, so I tell people. I was telling somebody the other day at work. We were telling drunk stories. And the first time I got absolutely drunk was on the podcast, and I have to like preface this with the story of like, it just happened to happen the day I found out that my life changed.
Yeah.
But like I tell people, like we were supposed to do that days earlier. And we were waiting for Bubba. Bubba didn't show, and it was like, all right, so we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it Monday or whatever day it ended up being.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then the 3 of us sat there and had a conversation about like you were telling us about your marriage, and like there was I knew something was really wrong. Well, I had a feeling that something was really wrong, but I had that feeling that it was going to be really bad for me when there was solidarity between the 2 of you.
Me and Sharon?
Yes, because there was. I mean, it was like your situations. Like she was like way more agreeing with you on everything. So I knew that something was wrong. Like I don't think you know this, but like while y'all were having that conversation that day, I was crying, like because I knew something was wrong. I was crying. Like I knew something was wrong. I could not figure out what. And just the conversation that y'all were having, like you were saying, like about how everything was falling apart with your marriage, and the steps that you had took. And she's just like, yeah, those sound like the steps I should take. Like,
well, now here's part of my deal.
Sorry.
Oh, no.
We didn't exactly have the same deal because what I did is I was out. I grew up in church. I went out partying and was living with my wife now. We were dating at the time for years. So then, I was having a really tough time. Decided I want to get back in church, try to straighten my life out, And I was like, hey, why don't you come with me? She didn't want to. So I started going to church. Then we kind of split at that point. she was wanting to go party, and I was trying to go, be more involved in church. Then met my ex-wife. We started seeing each other, and I didn't know, but I was kind of getting pulled into a cult. So I was in like a super religious, culty kind of. Everybody does whatever the pastor says. If you want to go on vacation, you check with him. You want to buy a car, check with him. If you want to change jobs, check with him. If you want to date somebody, check with him. And I was kind of like drugging a little at a time. So then a few years in, I got a couple kids, and I'm like looking around, going, "Wow!" So I'm in a cult, and I didn't realize.
I was just like, "What the fuck, man?"
I was looking around, man, and I was like, how come nobody agrees with anything I have to say? And whenever I talk about anything, everybody's like, because, I'm like Scar, I'm like a thinking guy, I'm not just a follower. You going to explain to me why something's how it is. And when you got rules like you can't wear anything but a white shirt on the platform, and Jesus had a beard, but you can't, and all kind of stuff. I'm like, right. So we have problems. So finally, I just got tired of all that, and then when I got back hooked up with my mate's girlfriend, who's my wife now, like I was already 1 foot out the door, and I got a hold of her, and then it just rolled quick after that, and then that's why AMP kind of took a hiatus, because I was changing locations, everything was different. I was having to make opportunities to see my kids, driving a whole lot more, and it was just like, I was not in a good mental state to be cracking jokes and telling mailman stories on there when I'm in the middle.
And that changed. Like your mailman status changed.
Yeah, I went from part-time mailman and doing a whole bunch of air conditioning work, where I was getting some stories from that, to full-time mailman stuff. So now the stories kind of changed. I didn't have as many redneck, I'm crawling up under a nasty house with dead cats and being attacked by pit bulls story, to just mail stuff. So that kind of changed too, but we kind of got dialed back in now. I feel like we've had some really good episodes, especially we did a open forum radio mashup cast Thursday night. So that's at 8:00 in the morning Central. It'll be released on Libsyn. And we've just done several good ones. It's just been really good. And probably the same thing you're talking about. I like the social interaction. I like the seeing my friends, talking it up, kind of the same thing that gaming, the same itch gaming scratches, because you get to talk with your friends and hang out. And then there is the positive feedback when people are like, oh, man, that story, blah, blah, blah. And I've been able to tell stories that my dad passed away, stories that he told forever, and I've incorporated them in the podcast. It's like a tribute to him. He used to like to listen and hear the same stories and laugh. He's like, oh, I remember when that happened, or whatever. So there's a whole lot of different aspects that still got me doing it after this time, and I think it's a lot of the same reasons you're doing it.
Yeah, and okay, so I got like three things. One is I'm gonna come back to the whole connecting with friends, because I had an experience there that was really dope. One, shout out to your brother. He just had a baby.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So shout out to him. Babies are cool. I don't love babies. I don't love babies,
No.
but I only like
baby. See you later.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like
for me it's more like, we just had our kid. I'm like, oh, unfollow.
Yeah. So that's been an experience, like watching all of that, and like when everything started going down, he wasn't there. I see all of this stuff on Facebook and Instagram and all that kind of stuff, because we all follow each other there. And then Bubba, when he gets around to it, and he is a master chef now.
Yeah.
Like
Good.
And then when he posts pictures of the things that he's making, I'm just like, damn, that looks fucking crazy. Yes. He's like really good. And he went to California, so he makes shit like quail eggs and shit.
Cooks a bear for people. This guy puts a bear in Russia, then brings it to Bubba, and Bubba cooks it for him.
Yeah. His stuff his stuff looks really good when he actually posts pictures. I notice he doesn't really post much on Facebook, but Instagram though. But and then like when we were talking about the connecting with the people, I had a conversation with Will from for Geeks for the Win.
I wonder if he still hates my guts. Hey, Will. He hated me so much, man. Hey, for the record, I don't hate nobody. I ain't mad at nobody. Love y'all.
So, it had been a very long time since just Will and I have had a conversation. Like we have a chat with like a bunch of the guys that we all, the OFR guys and Knox and the Geeks for the
Knox hates me too, by the way. Shout out Knox.
It's good. I don't think he listens. But like, so like him and I have not had a conversation outside of like that group chat. So like it's been a very long time since just him and I spoke. So we talked in the group chat about having a actual conversation over Xbox Live about Endgame. And so like he got online, I joined him, and no one else joined, and it was just me and him. And in like the conversation that we had was just two old friends.
Yeah.
And we were talking about Endgame, and we started talking about all kinds of extra stuff. We ended up talking about Cheddar Bob from 8 Mile. That's how the conversation ended, because when we were able, at some point I made an 8 Mile reference, and then we were talking about the characters or whatever like that. Oh yeah, we made an 8 Mile reference because we were talking about well, no, I can't say that because that's an in-game spoiler and some people haven't seen it yet, Chase. Yeah. But we were talking about Falcon, and like his real name is Clarence, from 8 Mile. And then we were talking about 8 Mile, and then I told him that the guy who plays Cheddar Bob actually played a character in Legends of Tomorrow, and like that just like blew his mind. But it was like because no one has seen Cheddar Bob. Like we don't know no one knows who Cheddar Bob. I don't even know Cheddar Bob's name. Like he's gonna be Cheddar Bob forever. Right. Like that guy. I don't know anything about him personally, but I always assume that he's not very bright, because of Cheddar Bob. But like it was just a really good conversation, and like it's one of those things to where it's like you get in this and you meet people and stuff like that, and you think about it at the time, but like the only time you really think about it is if you go to like a place like PAX or something like that, where everybody is kind of around each other. Yeah. And like you realize that like, this person really knows me. And I know him. And
man, the times me and you seen each other, like the first time we saw each other, man, I felt like I like, oh, here's my family. I ain't seen in so long. We're like, me and you two big old dudes like hugging in Cracker Barrel or someplace, and folks like, those guys.
Yeah, because
I want to get a hug you, man.
I'm not ashamed. Yeah. I'm a hugger. When I see my bros, I'm giving a hug, a straight up hug. Man. Sure. Not a dap hug. Like no. I'll dap you, but I want a hug. Like I'm a
manly hug.
Yeah, for real.
Like two grizzly bears fighting.
Yeah, pretty much.
Extra life. I was like, "How you doing, Scar?" And he's like, "Nah."
Yeah, we don't do that. Like we don't do that. Like I mean, and then Chase is so short. Like he's so short. Like, you know what? I'm still mad that we never got we need to go back and get a screenshot from that live stream of both of us standing next to each other, because like Chase is so short, bruh. Like he is so short. Now I found out when we met that you are like taller than me, but like,
about the same.
Yeah, but like there are some people like Blue is short.
Shorter than you think. Yeah,
he won't tell you that he's that short. Ace, for that voice, Ace is like really short. I think Ace is shorter than Chase. Like that's how.
Bubba's like 3 inches taller than me or something, man. Bubba's pretty tall.
That's a big man. That's a mountain man.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, man. That's. I mean,
I saw last summer. I met the OFR guys in Nashville. Drove up there and met Vlad's. Jason, which apparently I nicknamed him Whiskey. I did it one podcast and it stuck. So Whiskey, Derek, Slasher, and Timo saw them in Nashville, and we hung out and had some drinks. All that
I met Slasher. I mean, not Slasher. I met Vlad's.
Yeah,
but that was like that first PAX where all of us were like, all of us were there, and like, we all had that really big podcast with some of the, would like Soldier and all the rest of them, like all of us, we all ended up in a room together, which was weird. Like, we ended up in the hotel room next door.
This soldier?
To Vic and them.
This soldier?
What?
He's holding up a PlayStation controller.
That soldier?
Chase, explain yourself.
Yeah. When none of us know what you're talking about.
Oh,
which is normal. Like, I was having a conversation with somebody about Chase, and I was just like, they asked how the shows were going and stuff like that, and it was like really cool. Except for it's like sometimes Chase just gets out on a limb that ain't nobody on with him. Like, he starts talking about French horror films, and I'm just kind of like, I ain't got it. Like, I don't know what you.
That's just like under blood. And I was like,
yeah. Well, there's a guy named Soldier that you guys said like talk shit on anything that's not PlayStation or something.
Yeah,
you're right. That's the reference.
Okay. You're right. You got it. You got it.
Okay.
But yeah, but like all of us met at that PAX, and it was really dope. I still have that picture of all of us just standing in the lobby of that hotel. It's just a massive amount of people. Yeah. And we were all in one hotel room. Just one. And somebody blocked the toilet. I don't, but nobody knows who, but somebody blocked the toilet, and because I was next door, I had to walk people to my hotel room to go to the bathroom because somebody blocked the toilet. I don't know who.
I still remember y'all did like a big video cast or something, and everybody was in that room. Phoenix and all them were there, and then all of a sudden we see Scar in the background on the phone. It's like, what?
Well, I figured I didn't have to contribute that much because they were using my Blue Snowball to record the whole thing. So I think I had to do much. And then
you contributed yours with the microphone.
Yeah, and it was interesting because I got to experience Drunk Blue.
Drunk Blue is something else.
It's a completely different dude. Like he's like, this nigga turned me back to the old me, Blue. He's a completely different dude. And then some of a couple of the Gamer Husbands dudes were there. Like, it was just really dope.
I never ever thought I would see Blue dancing to No Diggity. That was something.
Nice.
You know what? That night in the club, and I showed somebody the picture of me sitting next to the dude who does the voice of Dom and Gears of War. Yeah, I showed somebody that picture because they were doing a photo op, and since we were sitting in that first booth that during that PAX, they kind of took over that with a bunch of the dancing girls to actually do a photo op or whatever. I showed somebody that picture because one of my coworkers is a really big Gears of War fan. I was like, yeah, man, I met Dom. And he was like, no, you didn't. Like, why would you do that? I was like, yo, that, so I pulled it up because it's on Facebook.
Yeah. And
I was like, yeah, that's him with the girls. And that's me on the side because I ain't really want to move. So they just kind of So I met him briefly. You know what? I'm still mad that I ain't get a picture with Cliffy B. I know he goes by Cliff Bazinski or whatever his name is. No, I ain't get a picture with Cliffy B.
It'll always be Cliffy B.
So yeah.
So who is the most famous person you ever met?
Most famous person I have ever met personally.
I got a good one. I've talked about on the show. I've got a really good one.
I know I don't know. Is there anybody more famous than probably somebody y'all don't know? But I met Free from 106 in Park.
Oh, nice.
And bro, she is so short. She's super short. Like, I mean, she's like 5'2".
Well, you can tell when you see her on TV. I mean, she's not that tall.
And bro, let me tell you. I look around, make sure my girl ain't close.
Bruh.
I had my hand about this close from that ass though. Like, it was this close. And there was a picture taken. There was a picture taken, but after it was on a cruise. I mean, like a little local cruise, but she was at a family reunion with her people, and the bar was downstairs where we were. So she came down to the bar, and I was like, "Is that Free?" is that free? And I was like, and went and talked to her. And
This car's points to some drinks. Are those free?
Yeah. And so we took a picture, but there was a falling out between me and the person who took the picture. So I don't have the picture.
Yeah.
Which sucks, but it was this close. Like, bruh. And when I tell you that thing in real life is still that thing.
Wow.
Sam, most famous person you ever met.
But I would say this about Free. She had on a pound of makeup. Like, bruh. Like, it's like she had a box full of makeup and she just stuck her face in one. like she had a pound of makeup. I think that's the most famous. I mean, other than like speaking to Adam Sessler briefly, or I said, "Hi," I was like, "Oh shit, that's Adam Sessler," and he was like, "Yes, I am," and he kept on walking. Go ahead, Sam.
Let's see. I'll just offhand. When I was like 10 or 11, I met Charles Barkley. He was doing a photo op at Foot Locker. Foot Locker by at the mall over here, but. That's probably the most famous person I've met.
Word up! That was my guy when he was a player. That was my guy.
Me too, man. He's from Bama.
Yeah.
What's up, Arcana? Yeah, this is AA. This is episode 400. So, yeah, that was Arcana from the chat. I was trying to like type in there while you guys were talking, but for some reason it won't let me type. But yeah, for me, I'm not sure, man, because when I had the band and stuff, we didn't really play like with anybody super famous other than like the guys in Lamb of God, maybe that.
Yeah.
So
but is Lamb of God? I always get Lamb of God and somebody else mixed up because one of them got a brother who's a singer.
No, that's not.
Okay, then it's the other one.
Yeah. So I don't know. I probably think if he gave me long enough, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, when I was about 12. My most famous person that I met was Goober from the Andy Griffith Show. He was signing overalls at the Walmart. So
that sounds just right.
Yes, but so that's how it was until I went on a FedEx training trip to New Orleans, and while in the New Orleans airport, Andrew and I met Mr. B.B. King.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, strong.
So
it was. And I looked over there. He had a Pops hat on. He was skimming through the magazines. I said, "Andrew," I said, "You know who that is?" He said, "No." I said, "Man, that's B.B. King." I had a bunch of his albums and stuff. I mean, people look at me and they probably don't think, "Man, that's a big blues guy." But I was into blues from a young age. And I said, "I'm going to talk to him." So I went over there. I said, "Excuse me, sir, are you who I think you are?" He said, "Well, it depends on who you think I am." And I said, "Mr. King?" He's like, "Yeah," or whatever. And I talked to him. We got our picture made. Same deal. The picture that we had made was taken by somebody that was from Missouri, this girl that was training for FedEx too. And she's supposed to send it to me, never did. But what I do have is a little guitar pin that he gave me that said B.B. King, like a little guitar-shaped deal that you like clip on a tie or whatever. He gave me one of those, so I still got it. But, yeah.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool.
So when you met Goober, did you become the man who met Goober?
No, I didn't really tell people like I needed to.
There's a Married with Children episode where like they go to like a one horse town and they meet the man who met Andy Griffith.
Oh yeah.
So you're the man that met Goober.
That's a little tough when you're 12 and you're trying to develop your status and all that. Saying I met Goober is probably not going to get you.
Well, I don't know. Where you live, I don't know. They might have got you some tail. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I would want to take that chance. If the quality of women that you would get, that you would pull by saying I met Goober, probably not. Probably not the quality that you want to go with.
Maybe you went to the senior citizen place or something. I don't know.
Well, you might have in that one county that you were talking about.
Walker County, yeah, that's true. Now you could probably use that in Walker County. Like you can roll up to the coal mines, and when the girls bring their out there to the coal mines, you could probably say, "Hey, I met Goober," and you'd probably leave the two in the truck.
Yeah, but like before you do that thing, you're like, I'm like,
yes, blow the coal dust off of Yeah.
But that line might actually work. Girl, I knocked the coal dust off.
I don't know if you remember the sausage finger story, but I retold that on a recent episode. Remember where I met the girl off the. Did y'all have that the 800 numbers, like meet local singles in your town? You call the 800 numbers and then leave voicemails, and then when they leave you voicemails, you had to call a 900 number to get them. That was before the internet.
Yeah.
So
I never did it, but definitely we had.
I used to see the commercials at like 2 a.m. like coming up from the bar.
Yeah, around the time where you was watching Uncut and like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I managed to get my numbers up in I don't know 1920 something like that using the local single line. That's how I ran some of my numbers before Craigslist.
Yeah, I'm glad you're doing that because I wasn't really around listening and stuff in the early days, you know, because when I started listening to Scarcasm, that was kind of when him and Pimp were just kind of like two-man show, and I kind of found everything through, well, the Dad's Getting Grounding podcast, which led me to EDG, and then really heard you on EDG. Yeah, I'm definitely Team Edgar. That's a much better name. I love it. for the EDG awards or whatever.
Yes,
the Edgar's is amazing.
Yeah, I wonder. I hadn't listened to them in a while. You know, when I was on EDG for a while, I was like,
they put out episodes like Angry Mailman now.
Because I kept bringing new stuff to them. I was like, hey guys, let's do this. You know, and like the list. Because the way they did stuff is they would have a shout out me if you're listening. They would have a deal where they would rotate. They would talk about stuff and be like, your turn, then your turn, and we'd wrote down lists and all that. I'm like, I knew as a listener, I was like, that's probably not the most enjoyable way to listen to stuff. So then I came up with like top 20 and top 25 lists. That was like a different format. And last time I checked in, they were still kind of doing that stuff a little bit. So yeah.
Yeah, they have the same. They have the same format as Aaron and them over there at Game Enthuse, because there's some time and like every time I'm on Game Enthuse, I try to like interject and ask questions because if I don't, then I'm just sitting there while all the rest of them just run down their list.
Yeah, it was too structured for me, man. I was all the time like you, the derail lord. Like I got in there every week, and I was like. Like everyone want to just read the outline this and that. I'm like, oh my god, I can't do this. You kidding me, bro? I can't. You know, because I've got a topic list, and after we run the opening stuff, I got a topic list, and we may not touch any of it. It just depends on how it goes. But when I was on like so many other podcasts, and then it's just this, then this. What happens is folks check out. The people on the show looking at the outline go, I don't want to talk about this, and then they don't even pay attention. And then you get nothing out of them until you get to the next thing they're interested in, and it's just like not my thing.
Yeah.
I
know how you feel. I like shows. I like shows where it's more like a conversation between friends, even if it's structured, like just having one person just run down all of their stuff and taking like is the you know. The take as much time as you need shows, not really my favorite.
Yeah.
Which is why I cut Chase off all the time, because if I don't, then he will talk for a half an hour about applying for a job that he didn't even get. So like,
oh my god. One time,
he was just going off, and I'm just like, Chase, bro.
Like, Chase, stop.
Now, when I was doing You Lose, man, Lefty Brown and Eric, both of them, they'll start talking and just go and go and go. And then when it's finally your turn, you go, and you've been talking half as long as they did. They start typing in the chat, need to wrap it up. And I'm like, what do you mean I need to wrap it up? Bro, I just sat through 30 minutes of you talking about a soccer team, and you're the only person that likes soccer. Like, nobody likes soccer with you, bro. Just hush.
Yeah. It's not even just soccer. It's like, do we really care about the Fresno team?
Yeah, I was just like, I don't care about this, and we're putting up with him. We're like, and like me and Fabios.
Not just soccer, but like MLS. The Major League Soccer.
Right.
Nobody cares about that.
No, he talk about that and these guys, this team and this my jersey and that, and I'm just like, okay. And then we started talking about something that me and Fadios would be into or something, and he'd just be in the chat. Need to wrap it up. Need to move on. And I would just ignore it. I just turn the chat off, and I was just like, you don't have to disrespect yourself if you want me to stop because I ain't gonna get shut down. Notice I'm not on that podcast anymore. Yeah, right. That's one thing. Lots of podcasts, I'd go on them. I don't think I've ever been thrown off a podcast, but I would just start getting the feeling like I don't really fit in here anymore. And I would just tell them, hey, I'm going to back away or whatever. And when you lose, I did that a couple times, and they invited me to come back. And then this last time, when they were starting back up, he said something like December about starting back up, and I just didn't respond in the chat. So next thing you know, he starts it back up, and it makes it sound like they cut me loose. I'm like, bro, I said, hey, we're good, man. We talked on the phone. So we're good, man. I said, I didn't want to come back and do it. But on the show, he's like, it is almost like we had to let Anthony go. I'm like, all right. It's your thing.
We give him his performance review, and decided to part ways.
It's your thing, Lefty, bro.
You
This
didn't
is
show
why
up
people
with
don't like me.
you
I'm
didn't show
just
up-
honest.
you didn't
I
show
just
up with the TPS reports on time.
Exactly. Yeah. I just know all the behind the scenes stuff, man, and that's why I've had beef with people in the past, but it's being honest. I don't hate anybody. Yeah. So
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird, like having people that you were cool with at one point, and like they have beef and you don't.
yeah.
Like like the aforementioned soldier. And it seemed like
Yeah.
because the conversation happened because we were talking about one day he kind of showed up in the facetious YouTube page and talked a little bit greasy, but he directed everything at Blue because he didn't really want these problems. But
Right. Yes.
You don't want these hands.
yeah, he didn't want no. You know what?
Hands to push the keyboard. That's what I mean.
No, I mean, he a police officer now, so like I ain't trying to put no hands. I ain't trying to put no hands on no police officer because that is my life. So I ain't trying to put my hands on no police officer. But but it's weird when like someone has a beef and you're just like, well, I don't even think about you, dog. Like, what's
Yeah. Well, Knox, what happened with that is when he had me and my ex-wife on some of it, like his marriage podcast or something. He did like 2 or 3 episodes of like 6 shows, and we're on there talking about stuff, whatever. We weren't having that great a time, but it got worse after that. So then after I left my wife reached out to him on Facebook or something and pretty much talked to me like I was terrible. And then he just started unfollowing me on everything. And I'm like, hey, what's going on, man? And he gave me a scripture about if somebody does wrong, you need to go to him or whatever. But he like flipped the scripture around that, like the person that does wrong is supposed to go to the whatever. Anyway, it was misuse of scripture. And I was just like, what's up? But yeah, he cut me off. He cut me off because I left my wife. So,
that happened to me once with my ex-father-in-law.
Thou shalt unfollow on Twitter.
Yeah. So because like some things happened, like my separation in the beginning was not very good, and then like there was some legal stuff that happened, and once the legal stuff got cleaned up, at the time my daughter was there, and like I called and he answered the phone or whatever like that. And when the legal stuff got cleared up, I don't know what story that he had, but like he gave me a lecture. And I'm like,
wow.
Why are you lecturing me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why are you lecturing me? And what he was lecturing me about was like something that was just like ass wrong. And like I wanted to buck back the same way that I wanted to that I almost got arrested for the actual court date. I almost got arrested that day because the judge said the judge looked at me and looked at her, and then this is at the time with the Richie Incognito Jonathan Martin thing where he was being bullied by a fellow football player. So he gave me a lecture about bullying her. And he said in his conversation that he thought I was a bully just because I'm large enough to be a bully, not because of anything that I actually did. And
prejudging.
That is the worst kind of lecture. Like, bro, lecture me on some shit I actually did.
Yeah, and if you give him the crazy look or head shake, that just makes things worse. So.
Yeah, I was hot, and when I responded to him, I guess I responded with some sort of hostility in my voice because he was asked wrong, and the bailiff stood up and put his hand on his gun, and my lawyer was like, "I need you to bring this down a bit." Like, so that actually happened to me. But yeah, I got lectured on being a bully when the only thing I did was be a large black man.
Yeah. Well, people look at you crazy when you're a large white dude too. Not as much, I'm sure, but I'll go in some places and just automatically, especially after the beard. Once I grew the beard in too, then I really got some I wear black a lot of times. So they just automatically think I'm like Sons of Anarchy or something. I don't know, but I get some crazy looks. Chase, you ever get that? You ever get in places?
Shout out to Opie.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I definitely got some looks when I had, because I grew a beard down to down here, and
she's got looks at Whole Foods.
Yeah. Yeah, they were thinking I was some homeless guy or something, or they thought that I was going to lecture them about proto punk or something. I don't know.
In a really angry tone. Do you have some size 7 men's shoes?
It should just be saying stuff like "yonk too." All of those, he was just he gets the beard, and all of a sudden he sounds like Jeff Foxworthy, Jeet Jet,
Mama
Nim. And you know what? Chase has been really different since he cut his beard, though.
You think so?
Yeah, you don't seem like the old Chase. You haven't talked much about foreign movies.
I lost on my strength because I cut my locks.
Oh yeah,
for a job you ain't even get.
Oh damn!
Or it could be maybe he was when he cut his beard, he quit making his own moonshine or something. Whatever that changed his personality.
He lost all his moonshine strength.
Now I just have to drink this. So
it ain't the same thing when a little bit of the dip when you spit it out to get in your beard. You know what I'm saying?
Flavor saver.
Yeah, you miss when if I eat nachos on the podcast and have cheese all up in I have a yellow beard.
Sweet.
Yeah, save some for next time.
That sounds disgusting.
No. All right, Jill, I just have to roll out of here, man. I wanted to jump on and help say congratulations on 400 and stuff. Mama's gonna be looking at me silly here in a minute.
Okay, thank you, brother. We appreciate you so much, and y'all gotta have me on the show soon.
Absolutely. Now let me tell you a secret. Part of how we got Brittany not to be on for these first 3 months is we told Andrew to tell her that we will not have any guests for the first 3 months. So because she's like, okay, well, if you don't have any guests, so really we just didn't want her on there at all because she's terrible. But
now she got a baby. You need to be over there with the baby.
Yeah, I think we can slide you in now without her knowing. It's good to talk to you guys, man. Congratulations, and thanks for having me on. And if anybody doesn't know, check out the Angry Mailman podcast. We are back rolling again with 8 episodes this year. It's crazy.
Yeah, it took 8 years for the previous.
Yes.
8 episodes. But yeah, again, we appreciate you, brother. I'll make sure that I put the links and everything in the show notes, or I make space to it.
All right. Y'all take it easy, guys. We'll see y'all.
Thanks, brother.
There we go.
All right. So I tried to play City Skylines again. It didn't work out so well. I don't know what it is about City Skylines. I was like, yo, I got to play something other than The Division right now. So I was watching something, and and City Skylines came up, and my girl asked me about it, and then we had a conversation about it. I was like, you know what, I should play that. So I tried to put on City Skylines, and I had to go to YouTube for a guide. Like I just couldn't do it on my own. Like I don't know what it is about that game. It's just like I couldn't make no money, so I couldn't really build anything. I was just stuck.
That's like the SimCity knockoff, right?
Yeah, but in SimCity, unless you got a DLC, is without disasters.
Ah,
So I tried, and I tried really hard, and I just couldn't get it. So I had to go through a starting your city guide on YouTube, and so far I'm doing all right. So far, but it's required hours of work, and like of course when I get on now, and I was playing on Xbox. I was playing on Xbox when I should have been playing on PC, but I was playing on Xbox, and like, of course, I have to appear offline because the moment I pop up, my cousin's like, "Yo, you want to get in some division?" Like, bruh, like it's like he ain't got nothing else better to do. And I'm just like, well, I'm not really doing anything. Let's do that. And it is like 6 or 7 hours. Um, but yeah, I did play City Skylines. I played a little bit more of Saints Row 3. Man, that is just I like that game so much. I don't love it as much as 2, but I like that game quite a bit.
They're good games.
mhm.
Yeah, it really is. And I know people just kind of look at the Saints Row series as Diet GTA, but nah, man, it's like if it's Diet GTA, then it's Diet Dr Pepper GTA. You know what I'm saying? Like it tastes just as good as the real thing.
Well, I think at first they did, but I don't think they really think that anymore. I think they consider Saints Row its own thing, you know.
Yeah, I think it was one of those things where 1 and 2 kind of came out in between 3 and 4,
Mm.
or San Andreas and 4.
Yeah.
So like they dropped 2 in between there, or like or Saints Row 2 came out around the same time as 4. But they separated themselves. But I know for a lot of people, those two things are synonymous. Those two games are synonymous. Like they're forever linked to each other. Even the We Want to Be Crackdown version. Um, but yeah, I just really like those games, and so I played a little bit more of that. I actually played like I actually got to play some Borderlands 2 with my daughter.
That's cool.
And that was so much fun because, like, okay, first of all, we both started new characters, and like, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna be the Necromancer, and I'm like, all right, cool, because I never really played that much of the Necromancer character, even after I got her as a downloadable character. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start a new Necromancer, and she was like, when I saw she picked her character before I did, and we're both playing the same person. Like we're both playing the same person, but like we start playing through the game, and like I know shooters aren't really her thing, but she was really holding her own, and I was really surprised by that. Like of how much, like of course, like this is not really the type of game that she plays, so there's a little bit that I had to explain to her about like dealing with her inventory and all of that kind of stuff. But for like the actual playing of the game, she did great, and I was a proud father at that point. Like, I got to play a game with my child, and I didn't have to you know, I didn't have to teach her everything step by step. You know what I mean? But here's the one thing that was difficult about it. When someone plays Borderlands, there's a shorthand where someone says, okay, so how do I play this? And if I tell you Chase, if I say Chase, it's Call of Duty controls, you know exactly what that means.
Right.
But she doesn't know that because she doesn't play that kind of stuff. So I had to kind of explain, like, I didn't have to explain the typical shooter controls, but I had to, like, how to throw her grenades, which button to press for her special once we got it, and all that kind of stuff. So
And melee.
No, she actually got the melee on her own. She knew that.
Oh, okay, cool. That's one of the big things about the Call of Duty controls is where that melee is.
Yeah. But you know what? after playing a decent amount of Call of Duty, I prefer the melee button being the stick.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the
Yeah. I prefer the melee controls being on the stick because then I don't have to think about it. It's a reaction when it's a stick. But if I'm playing Halo and I have to reach over and press B, like that's a problem. Like, well, it's not a problem, but it's just something that I have to actually think about. If I'm close to somebody, I just instinctively push the stick in and bam.
Yeah, whoever at Infinity Ward or whatever that come up with those controls to where pretty much everything that is shooter or combat related, you don't have to move your fingers at all. Only thing you have to move your fingers for is to jump, which you never do in Call of Duty, and to reload, which you should have to take your fingers off the thing to reload, and whatever Y is to switch your guns and B is to crouch or whatever. But so most of your shit is like you don't have to move your hands, which is genius. Like I don't know why games deviate from that.
Yeah, you know what? That's what bothered me because I played the Bad Company games after. I played it after everybody else.
Yeah.
But like going back to the Bad Company games, like those controls, like you can't change them, and they are just it don't feel right because it's pretty much like this. Is like if you're playing a first person shooter with a controller, there's two ways to go about it. It's Halo or it's Call of Duty.
Right.
Period. Like there is no other control scheme that matters. And if you're playing a third person shooter, if there's cover, then it should be Gears of War. And there's games that have deviated from that, like Andromeda deviated from that because you don't actually use a button to go into cover.
Right.
But like I think more people just need to just be like, okay, this is already established, this already works. Let's just do that instead of just coming up with their own shit.
Because Mass Effect 2 and 3 was Gears of War.
Yes. Very much so. And then they changed it, and it's just like, well, why did you need to change this? Like, this shit works. And I'm gonna say this before we move on and everybody else talk about their stuff. Like I said, my coworker is a Gears of War fan. He loves Gears of War 4, and I was going to try Gears of War 4 again. I was really going to try. And then I went to go press A on Gears of War 4, and I was like, oh yeah, you fucking hate JD. Bye. Like, I fucking hate JD so much. As a character, he's just like, I just want to punch JD in the face. Like, I don't have very many like game characters that I would really love to punch in the face, but JD is face punchable.
They should have made him super country. Name's JD. Kill some locust. Because my name's JD.
Yeehaw.
Kiss my grits.
Yeah, like the dude who's the driver in 3. Is it 3 or is it 2?
Oh, the cowboy guy?
Yeah. And then have you ever seen somebody do that thing where you shoot all of the hats at the beginning of the stage, and then all of the monsters have cowboy hats, and like you see the creeper coming out of the ground, and he's like, yeah, it's like at the very beginning of the stage when you're just standing there before the thing starts moving, there's a few cowboy hats that are spread around, and you have to shoot them all. And if you shoot them all of the enemies have on cowboy hats, and they all say some version of monstrous yeehaw.
Mm-hmm. That's hilarious.
That's hilarious, especially when you see it. Like kind of like the Skyrim mod where the dragons are Macho Man.
Yeah.
All right, so what y'all got going? I just ran through mine fast because, yeah.
I've been playing still playing through Origins, and I'm still enjoying it, man. Like I don't think that I've come to a part to where I was like, man, it's starting to bog down, which is normally how Assassin's Creed games work for me. Like I'll get pretty into it, and then all of a sudden it'll open up, and I'm like, I'm bored now. But everything's still fresh. I'm whatever they did with that, that's really cool. Like the side quests, none of them are fetch quests. They're all like small little stories. Even if they start out as a fetch quest, it would end out. Actually, we have to go through this shit, and we have to go, and it's cool. And I started playing a game called Katana Zero, and that game is badass.
I've never heard of that ever.
Yeah, it's brand new, but I was like, it's like a $14 game or whatever, but I got it for like $11 because I got it off of Humble, and everything's 10% off for me. But yeah, it's like, yeah, if you're a Humble subscriber, everything else their store is 10% off on top of whatever sale they got. But yeah, but yeah, it's a 2D side-scrolling game. I don't want to call it Metroidvania because it's not, because you're not like backtracking and all that kind of stupid stuff that you do in Metroidvania type games. But you play as this samurai dude, and you're like doing these hits, and apparently he takes this drug that like allows him to see the future, like of what's going to happen, like while he's doing his hit or whatever. So he can change the future and make sure that he makes no mistakes. So that's pretty much like when you die, you don't really die. Like you're dying in his like trying to figure out his plan. And after you've done it, and there's bullet time, so you can like hit bullets into other dudes and like kill them, or like throw fucking axes, and like it's super fucking bloody and really satisfying combat. And once you're done with it, he's like, "Yeah, that'll work." And then you see yourself just doing it at normal speed, and it's just it's just totally badass. I'm really enjoying it. But yeah, that's Katana Zero. I'm gonna start doing that, like repeating because there's been a few podcasts where like they'll talk about something. I was like, that kind of sounds kind of cool, and then I have to go backwards to figure out what it was, because whatever it was I'd never heard of. So if they don't say the name again, I have no idea what they're talking about because it didn't ring a bell. So,
right.
But yeah. So what about you, Sam?
I have been playing nothing at all.
Amazing. I love that game.
Yeah. It's I also got it very humbly. No, I saw the For Honor documentary that they have on Netflix, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go buy For Honor. Then I went to the store and I looked at it. I was like, you know what, screw this, and I just left it there.
Didn't they give it to us on both platforms for free?
Well, I obviously missed out on that. No, it was like $10 at GameStop, and then I saw that it was one of those things where you always have to be, always online thing, and then I was just like, yeah, I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was like mostly a online combat, but I thought there was some sort of thing to where you can do scenarios and stuff. There's none of that, or is it just?
Yeah, there is, but it also requires some kind of online engagement. I didn't actually. I mean, I read it and I was like, this is stupid. I don't want to deal with this. It's because like the way I read it, it seemed like it's kind of like Watch Dogs 2, where people will just drop in and out of your game. I don't want that. I don't want some random Yahoo just running around and they're acting stupid in my game.
You might can turn that off, because like in Dying Light, you can get invaded at night, right? But if you don't want that to happen, you can just turn it off.
I just didn't feel like dealing with it. No, I remember when I was trying to be a good Samaritan, a good online guy, and play Watch Dogs 2 with people. Try to do like those co-op missions with people online. I would try to do stealthy, sneakily stuff, and then the other guy would just run in there, like yee-haw, and just run in, just guns blazing. I'm like, no, and he would get killed.
Yeah,
because you can't go guns blazing in that game. You will die. So yeah, so that's when I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this whole online cooperation junk anymore with randoms.
Yeah,
I refuse.
Yeah, online co-op is not really that fun with randoms, especially if you can't talk. Because, like, yeah, we love co-op, but that doesn't necessarily mean that co-op is easy. Like, sometimes it can be harder than playing online competitive, because you still have to communicate, and the AI's only getting better.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't been playing anything at all.
But what about the documentary got you to say I want to buy this game?
Oh, just the way it was kind of hyped and like just all the reviews that they were talking about in the movie, and then just like looking at screens of the movie, like how they made it and everything. I was like, "Whoa, that looks really cool!" And just like the fun that they were having making it and playing beta testing and everything. I was like, "That looks really awesome. I want to play this." But nah.
Yeah, and they put a lot of work into that, like like dealing with people who practice those arts and stuff like that and trying to model their characters after them and all of that kind of stuff. Like they put a lot of work in that. It's just it always seemed like a really cool game, but I was just wondering why we didn't have pirates and ninjas.
Right? Pirates versus ninjas.
You know what I mean?
Didn't they eventually make it into like one of those like tower defense games or something?
No, it was actually a dodgeball game.
Okay.
It was a pirates versus ninjas dodgeball. I always thought that there is an underserved market where why has no one ever made a ninjas versus samurai MMO? And then the pirates are the DLC.
There was a
why
movie.
Has no one ever made this?
There was a movie I was watching called I think it's called The Gamers. It's like a low budget like B movie that came out with like some college kids. So these are guys who like sit around and play D&D, but then like stuff happens outside of the D&D game. Their lives or whatever get intertwined and blah blah blah. So there's a part in the movie where like there's an office and all of a sudden pirates invade the office, and on the other side of the office, a group of ninjas invade the office, and then you're like, what is happening here? They just start having this huge fight in an office. Apparently, all it was just like one character explaining to another character his idea for a game.
Right.
I thought that was
like, what? Something, I'm still kind of pissed off about this. I'm really pissed off about this. But back in the day, I think I was in like middle school or early high school. I'm old. So like I'm having a conversation with my friends and we are talking about games we would like to be made. And we sat down and we mapped out what should have been the greatest game of all time. An X-Men fighting game. And then they made that Children of the Atom shit. And we were all looking at each other like, who the fuck stole our idea? Like, who the fuck stole our idea? Like, we was like upset. Like, like for real? Like, they actually did this? And then it ended up not being as great as the one that we thought of?
Just figure out which one of your friends is getting royalties now. And it's just like snuff them out.
I don't think none of them are living large enough to be getting royalties.
Okay, well then there you go.
I checked though.
You wouldn't hire a hacker to like get into their bank accounts and see what's going on.
Which one of y'all niggas snitched to Capcom?
Yeah, I do think we need to. Well, I guess that new game from Sony's coming out, but like samurais aren't really in very many games. Like I think it'd be cool to have more samurai games than ninja games, because like a ninja, it kind of has to be stealthy. Well, samurai can be stealthy too, but samurais also you can just like fucking tear people to pieces.
The thing about it is ninjas have much better publicity. Like samurai is all about like the code and all that other stuff. Like, yeah, it's like, man, fuck all that. Like I'm a sneak in here, I'm gonna stab some dudes, I'm gonna take some stuff, I'm gonna throw this smoke bomb, and I'm gonna be out. Like that sounds way cooler than like, I'm gonna go fight for my warlord, and there's a code that I gotta keep, and like I gotta stay to that, because if I stray from this, then I need to take this little sword that I got right here and cut myself across the stomach and watch all of my entrails fall out. Like, no, how about
there goes my lunch? All right,
yeah.
That's what
oh yeah, I did have pizza today. Like,
you do that, you're like, ooh, second lunch.
It's like ninjas always sounded cooler, but like I think that is that like putting them up against samurai would seems like it would make for a good game as long as it's balanced in like a MMO type setting. It's like what I mean, like that just sounds dope to me, and like no one has ever made that.
But if like you have samurais and ninjas in an MMO, you have samurais and ninjas doing like the floss.
Stop that.
No, I said MMO, not a battle royale game. Yeah, I saw. I can't remember what it was. It was somebody had an animated GIF of the Hulk doing the floss, and I was like, "Yo, this is too far."
Didn't what's his name in The Good Place do the floss? Ted Danson.
Yes,
That was weird to look at.
very.
And they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm doing the Backpack Kid dance.
Yeah, I missed a good place.
I still need to finish watching it. I haven't gotten around to it.
Oh man,
Because your DVR fucked up, right?
Well, yeah, well, there was that, but I have Hulu now, and I can just easily go back and watch it. But instead, I'm watching like the Bob Newhart show. Because you know why? Because it's something that's easy to consume. You could just sit there and have it in the background while you're like checking Reddit or something. Like The Good Place, I'd have to actually sit and actually pay attention. And who has time for that?
I started watching a new show. It's interesting so far, but it's not like the best show ever. I started watching on Hulu. I started watching The Enemy Within, and it's actually pretty decent. It's about it stars Morris Chestnut, and he is an FBI agent who has to work with the CIA agent that got a few people killed, and she's considered a traitor.
Now, this version of Morris Chestnut know how to zig and zag, because the previous iteration did not.
Yes, of course.
How many ladies watch this show? Like all of them?
I don't know, but like it's not that kind of party. Like they ain't had no, like he's an FBI agent, so he's always in a suit and stuff like that. I don't think I've seen him in regular clothes yet.
Oh, okay.
Like, maybe that might, like maybe that might change when they realize they need some ladies to come through. But yeah, so far it's really interesting. I'm about a few episodes in, and it's all right. I have watched also some with my girl. I'm not watching like every episode, but This Is Us is a really well made TV show.
I have no interest in ever watching that. Like, I do not want to purposely depress myself.
You know something? Like I don't know whether. Okay, so I don't want to say this out. I don't want to say this.
Kind of like Bomani says, like I don't watch things I don't watch sad shit on purpose.
Okay, so here's the thing. It's not really that sad. But there are some moments where your boy got a little choked up. My girl don't get choked up at all. She might be a psychopath.
No, because like every time when people on Twitter would live stream it, they're always like, "Oh my god, my feels! Oh my god, this show makes me cry."
Yeah, there's some real shit that happens in this. Like, I mean, like some real shit from the episodes that I've seen, and it's weird though because.
Yo, Sam, you just sound like the people to be like fucking snowflakes. Fuck your feelings.
It's weird because like the dude who played the Green Arrow on Smallville is the adult version of one of the brothers or one of the siblings, and it's weird seeing him like not be a corny Green Arrow because he was like super corny in Smallville. But like I'm seeing some like people that I've seen in other things do a lot of different things outside of characters that I've seen them play. Like there's a couple characters from like Luke Cage that played in it. The guy who plays Bobby Fish plays in it. And he is completely different than Bobby Fish. He couldn't be more different. And the guy who plays the Snitch in all of the Marvel the Marvel TV shows on Netflix. What's his name? Turk. He was in an episode. He's a politician in that.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was weird because like you the snitch, bro. You been a snitch. You've been a snitch in all these shows, and like I don't see you as anything other than a snitch right now. So like when you talk from the perspective of being a politician, I'm expecting you to snitch on somebody. Like that's just how this goes right now.
Right.
But yeah, but that's really good. Like the episodes that I've seen have all been really good. I like how it's probably been explained on people who talk about it, but like the whole thing where they're going through something in their lives now, and then they have the callbacks to like they connect some dots through like seeing them as children. And like sometimes seeing them as children, sometimes seeing them as teenagers, and then like what happened in their adulthood. And like there's even one part where I saw the brother as an older man, and his child is an adult. But I still don't know. I ain't watched enough to figure out what that was about because it was just something that happened at the end of an episode. But I like how they connect the dots through jumping through these people's lives. And it's a very well made show. Am I going to sit there and watch it all? Absolutely not. But if I'm in the room and she watching, I might actually watch.
I started watching this show called Abby's. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's basically like this lady who runs like a bootleg bar in her backyard. It's a comedy.
Where do you find these shows?
Where did I find that? I think I saw a commercial while like I was watching Superstore.
Yeah, you find shows that are like the fucking video games that like are random fucking shit that AZ Rockslide or what's his face from the Aaron would play, but they're a show version.
Yeah, very much so.
So like I was watching it. Well, I mean, first I was watching it because Natalie Morales is in it, who basically is not Rosario Dawson. I'm sure you've seen her in something. She's been in like everything.
I'll look it up while you talk.
She was in Parks and Rec. She was in like.
Was she the girl that's like the one that's like always like deadpan and stuff?
Lucy, I think that's what her name was. But yeah, she's been in a bunch of things. She was on Pimp My Ride. She was on the Newsroom. I used to watch the Newsroom. But yeah, basically not Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, she looks like not Rosario Dawson. I don't know her from anything because
she finally has her own. She finally has her own show, and I was like, okay, I like her. I'm gonna give it a chance.
Yeah,
First two episodes, nope.
I'm looking through her filmography, and I don't see nothing that I've actually watched because I never really watched Parks and Rec.
Yeah, I watched the show, and nope, this is stupid. I want nothing to do with this. Like, this is not funny to me at all. Like, first off, the police would have had this woman arrested a long time ago. She's been doing this. She's been having this bar in her backyard for like years. She has a big sign out front. Like, what the hell?
Right. It's kind of like what's that other show? Weeds. Like
oh, that lady would have gotten tossed. Like
she would have got
immediately.
You know how many times she would have been raped and murdered? Like,
yeah, that's what I was telling Q. Like recently, I was like, she would have gotten tossed like immediately right out the gate. She would not have survived.
Right.
But yeah, this show's not funny. I mean, maybe it finds its footing later. I know I won't be around for that, but I really like her, and like I wish her a lot of success because I've been watching her a lot of things, and like this is her first time actually, headlining a show. But no,
you said her name's what?
Natalie Morales. She's not Rosario Dawson.
She looks like Rosario Dawson if you squint real hard.
Yeah. But I was watching that and I was like, no, this is dumb.
Well, she's not the person I thought you were talking about, but
like she's Lucy in Parks and Rec. I haven't watched that show in so long I completely forgot. Unless it's the main cast, I don't know anyone on that, any other like secondary characters on that show.
Yeah, I apparently the people who directed Infinity War did some work on Parks and Rec, because there's a couple of people who play in Parks and Rec that are since I don't watch Parks and Rec, like this is what I've been told. There are a couple of people in Parks and Rec that play in in-game.
Oh, okay. Just like what's his name? The Lost guy. He's always putting like certain. He always puts these actors in all his movies, like the chubby dude. He's like in Star Trek. He's in the Star Wars, and he's in everything. He's rebooted. He's been in it.
You mean what's his name? Oh boy, used to play in Heroes.
Yeah. The Matt. I think his name was
Matt Parkman.
Yeah, that dude is like in everything that this guy has made since leaving Lost.
Yeah. And like he wasn't even in Lost that long. Like, let's be honest. Like he was the pilot. The plane crashed. He gone.
Oh, he was the pilot. I've never watched an episode.
He played the pilot in Lost. He was the pilot.
Poor dude. Well, how did everybody else live? But he's the only one that bought it.
Nosedive.
That's terrible.
He sacrificed himself for the greater
good.
Yeah.
Damn it, Chase.
Chase. Do we got anything else?
I started reading the Infinity. Okay, so like years ago, I had every issue of the Infinity Gauntlet. I actually picked up the actual trade paperback. Now, thumbing through it, I do not remember any of this. But like now that I'm reading like the first few pages, I'm like, okay, it's starting to come back to me. And I think it's because when all this was going down, I think is when I was transitioning out of comic books and maybe transitioning towards looking at girls in class. I don't know, but it's a lot of this is just lost to me.
Yeah, I had a conversation with my boss where I asked him if he going to see the movie. I mean, because he goes to see movies often, but he's he likes more highbrow type stuff. But he was telling me how he doesn't like superhero movies because of the action set pieces, and I'm like, that's why you go. Like, what is we talking about? And he said he doesn't like them, and he was talking about how his favorite superhero movie is Watchmen, and I'm like, bro,
really,
whose favorite movie is Watchmen? Like for real? But he's like,
see, I love Watchmen, but I fucking hate that movie.
yeah, he said he didn't actually read the comic book, and I'm just like, I was like, I mean, he reads everything on his Kindle, but I was like, you should read it if you like the movie so much. You should read it.
Yeah, there's tons of stuff that they didn't even touch on in the movie,
bro. That book, the graphic novel of the Watchmen is like fucking Harry Potter 3 through the end thickness of a book.
Yeah, the thing is, it's like a graphic novel, but it takes you as long to read it as like a normal book. Like some graphic novels could be this thick, but then it'll take you a week to read it because some of the pages you're clicking so fast because
there's so much content on one frame.
Yeah,
that you're just like,
and then like. And like that extra story about the fucking
the shit. What? No, screw that. No,
like, bruh, like this don't have no like this.
It has no bearing on anything.
None.
All it is basically just a retelling of what's going on in the movie. Like it's basically, I don't know. It's like kind of like a fable in a way to like what's happening. It's like parallel.
It's just weird. Like none of this shit needed to be here. You know that, right?
I actually watched that 4-hour version because like someone I know made me watch that, and I was just like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever watched in my life. Why did you make me watch this 8-hour version of this crap?
Yeah, fuck that. I can't. I mean, I could sit through Infinity War and Endgame and all that kind of stuff, but I couldn't sit through Lord of the Rings. Like, I just couldn't. Like, bruh.
Well, see, at least Lord of the Rings is a continuous story. This movie, like, breaks to show you some pirate bullshit. And you're just like, ugh.
So they actually made another cut of that with the... They made another cut of it with the pirate shit in it.
Yeah, like, that's what really annoyed me. That's why I was like, why is this movie... This movie sucks.
Yes, it does.
It's like the extreme cut or something like that. The director...
I cannot.
Yeah, but no, but like back to what you were saying, Scar. Like, Paige Turner and I went to go see the Transformers '86 movie because they brought it back to theaters for one night only. And I was telling her about like how great it is and everything, and she was just like, all it was just like big fight scenes set to rock music. I'm like, yes, that's what makes it great.
You know what? I bought that when it came off a moratorium. I bought it on VHS and then I bought it on DVD. Now here's the problem. Once I bought it on DVD, it has special features. And like I have never watched it since because you listen to the special features and they tell you the truth. Like this
Oh, it was just an advertisement to make new toys.
this is just a commercial.
Yeah,
This whole movie is just a commercial.
Oh yeah, that's why they wait them out in the first 5 minutes so they can introduce new toys. Yeah, I know.
We killed everybody so we could sell y'all new shit. Like,
Yeah.
bruh, are you serious? Like,
I knew
y'all went through all this just so y'all could sell me another version of fucking Hot Rod? Are you fucking kidding me?
that.
Hot Rod?
I enjoyed the movie. I mean, I really liked it. It's one of my favorites.
I can't do it no more, man. After that shit, like when that shit hit me, like, and they were talking about like how traumatized people were saying that they were watching Optimus Prime die. Spoiler alert.
Chase.
Did you lose the touch? Did you lose the power?
Oh my god, when that song showed up in Boogie Nights, but it's just one of those things. Oh, that I think that song is also in Saints Row 3.
Oh yeah.
It's also in that what is it called, Shadow Warrior, where you play where you play the dude and his name is like Lil Wang and he's like a samurai and it's like fucking stupid but
I will never play a character named Little Wang. I'm sorry. That sounds
Forget that.
It's not a serious game, but it's super bloody and like
Even serious or not, I can't play Lil Wayne. Like, okay, so I had a thought the other day. I had a thought the other day, and I want y'all to tell me, am I rationalizing this right? Now we know, like we have, like I have issues with things called Magnum that I'm supposed to put in my mouth, like Magnum ice cream. But I was looking through cars. I'm interested in finally getting a new car. And I saw a Dodge Magnum.
But you're not putting it in your mouth.
I don't know, but now
you're sliding into the Magnum. You're not putting it in your mouth.
In the Magnum. You know what I mean? Like I'm in the Magnum, and I don't know if I should feel this way about it because it's not a bad car.
But it would be a good thing for you to fit in a Magnum, right?
I'm black. I already fit in the Magnum.
Oh God.
So you already fit in that car.
Know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, and you fit in the car, man.
No, explain it to us, Scar. What are you talking about? Okay. I know what you meant, by the way. I was just
If you don't know, I got 2 words for you.
Scar's over there, like if you know what I mean, if you catch my drift. Jason's just like so disturbed. Look at him.
I love making the jokes to where it's like a dick joke or something, but doesn't really come out and say that it's a dick joke, and then like everyone's kind of like a little awkward, and a little bit later I'm talking about dicks. They're like, I know. I just think it's the funniest shit ever. I love it.
No, that's a white people shit right there. I'm talking about dicks. Like, I'm
talking about penises.
Yeah, penis. We're talking about penis over here. Fuck out of here! We're talking about penis. Yeah, I think that's it. There was something else that I wanted to talk about, and I can't remember what that was. It was something else that I did or something else that I watched, and I cannot remember.
Well, didn't you watch The Act?
I have not watched The Act in a few weeks because I'm caught up on The Act, and they're releasing the episodes once a week. So I have not watched the last week's episode yet. So like it's been over a week since I watched it.
Because you've been acting up so much.
But here's the thing about The Act. I found out that The Act is an anthology series. So like when they do it next season, it's not going to be about this at all.
Oh, good, because like every time they show that thing on like Hulu, when you pop up, you're like, ah.
Yeah, but it's really good. Like I really like it a lot. I mean, I'm to the point. I'm to the point where they get caught. I mean, it's a true story, so it's not like you don't know that they got caught. Like she's in jail now, but I'm to the point where they got caught. So I'm interested to see how this goes from here and how they close it out. So,
So has it got such good writing to where like you know that they're going to get caught, but then you're like maybe she'll get away.
No, it's based on a true story. So like when I saw the first preview for this, I looked up what actually happened there because it seemed interesting. So I know the real story. And then they took some license with it to make it like for a TV show, but it's pretty close to what actually happened. So yeah, it's actually pretty cool. Like the scene where they actually get caught is like, y'all are the dumbest criminals ever. Like that whole thing of like, how could you be that stupid? Like, I get it, you're young adults, but like you're supposed to be adults at least and like understand like I'm not gonna mail the murder weapon to myself. Like you're supposed to get rid of the murder weapon. No, he put that bitch in the mail and mailed it to his home. Like for real, like that's what happened. They did the crime. He put the murder weapon in the mail and sent it to his house where they ended up being.
All right.
Yeah. And then like they like, you know, part of the real story is they afterwards she felt bad that they killed her mom. Like this is not like, none of this is spoilers because it's all like based off of a real story, but they killed her mom. She felt bad and was like, you know, we need to make sure that somebody is able to find her. So like they start posting on the Facebook page about like, I killed her and I raped her daughter and all this other stuff. And then after it's sent, he goes, did you turn the location off?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like none of them thought about this before they started sending those messages.
Wait, so is the girl actually disabled or no? Or is that part of the act?
Not at all. Her mom has like Munchausen, and basically it made her believe that something was wrong with her, and there actually was nothing wrong. Like she had all kinds of.
Was that part of like the scam or something? Or
Well, her mom was basically doing the scam for a good chunk of the time. She actually believed her mom. And like when she started getting, you know, going through puberty and stuff like that, and she started like becoming her own person, she realized that there was something wrong here because like, why am I in a wheelchair today? Every day I can walk, and you know, stuff like that. Like you know, that's basically what the show kind of like does, and it's like her gaining her own independence. And trying to get away from her mom because like all of that shit was a lie.
mm-hmm.
She knew she believed her mom up until a point, but her mom just kept sucking her back in. And you know, the biggest thing was like, hey, if I get caught, they catching you too. So go ahead and get back in this chair. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff like that. Her mother was like a master manipulator. And like I think because her mom actually believed this shit herself. Like there was something in her that was just mentally broken. But I think you should try it. You have Hulu. I think you should try it.
I have no interest. Chase, are you asleep?
Huh?
Sure. Yeah, we need to wrap this up. So again, you know, thank y'all for an amazing month last month and for y'all riding with us for so long. Thank you to Sherry and Rob over there at the Digicast who do the casual conversations for us, because I'm 100% certain that those helped us get to this level. So like, thank you to them. Thank you to Sam and Chase, of course, because without them, I'm not sure I would still be doing this at all. I would have stopped a long time ago, because I really didn't want to do a show by myself. And like it's good to have people to like talk to and bounce ideas off of and do this. So like thank you to all of y'all. Like we made it to 400, not just the show. The show just didn't make it to 400, even though we probably passed 400 really a long time ago. But like the show just didn't make it here. Like we made it here, like together, because
Yeah, it's
I
400, but at 406, it'd be 100 episodes since I did my first episode with you.
word up. Yeah, see, like we did this, and it's not just like us that are on the show. Like all of y'all who have listened to any of the 400 plus shows that we have on the feed. Well, that we have available, and like we did this. Like we all did this because like without y'all, like there would be no reason for the show to exist. And I appreciate everybody listening also, because like sometimes it doesn't seem like anybody cares, and then when you're really feeling that way and you're feeling like really low, like y'all really show up for like August and all of that kind of stuff, where y'all really kind of showed up for us, and we really fucking appreciate that shit. We really do. It's absolutely amazing, and there isn't another way to express how appreciative we are for everything that you do, even if you don't say anything about it. The fact that you spent even a little bit of time with us, we definitely appreciate that shit. So thank you. So for the homie Double A, who had to cut out early, and for Chase and Sam, this is Scarcasm, and we're out of here. Peace out to the Warriors, yo.
Later.